Hello, I'm your host, Brandy.
I'm your host, Envy.
My name is Nicole.
And welcome to Yinz Podcast. Whitney Houston said the children are our future. And I hate to think that we're the children that she was talking about.
Yeah.
Because this is crazy, you know? We have to figure something out here.
I got my degree in special education just because my son was diagnosed. I went back to school and did online.
How you guys motivate yourself, like, with all these things?
Just keep looking and looking and looking and not take no for an answer. They told me Children's Hospital had a 1.5 year wait. And they tell you early intervention with autism is very, very key.
You know, there's nothing like a club that you can join. Like, there used to be a place that when we were children, we can go and there were other children there.
Really?
The resources that we had as children
not that much
are
there.
not there anymore. The Boys and Girls Club, the YMCA, the things like that.
He was being bullied. It was just completely ridiculous. Kids that were doing it had to take no accountability for their actions.
All of us being parents and every parent out there, we worry about what's going to happen when we go.
I was going through a divorce at that time, so it was just a lot at once. But I just was on the computer all the time, talking to every parent that I saw, just so I could figure out, what to do. I didn't really know.
It took a while to learn the IEP system.
Oh, there are some schools I know that are wonderful. They have really good programs in place for that.
How did you find the resources for your son in the school?
So I didn't actually find them in the school at first. I had to go to the preschool every day for 3 hours when he was there to help him, helped him with coping skills of things. And he went to a food specialist to try new foods because he would only eat the same thing every day. But that's not for him at his public school. It was not right. It was not there for him. That was all things that I had to do on my own.
You had to find the resources on your
own,
and I understand that
for a limited time too, because the school day is an average 6-7 hours. So you figure by the time that he gets home, he's already tired. Then they have to do homework, and then taking them to these other resources. That's a long day for a 5 or a 6-year-old.
Yes,
it's a long day.
Did you have to work with any advocate for your IEPs and stuff?
I'm going to be honest. Our school district was not the greatest at all, which is why my son is being homeschooled right now. There was absolutely not many resources, and the resources that they had, as example, they told him when he would get upset to write in a personal journal. That was his journal. It was personal. But then that counselor read that journal and then threatened to send my kid to Western Psych. Well, I'm at work. So imagine getting a call from the school, we're taking your kid, we're going to send him to Western Psych, is mind-boggling. So I just left work. I closed down and left and hurried up and got there. So his school did not have a lot of those resources and did not have teachers really that
would have
cared.
been my question. My question is what are the public schools doing to help children with needs that they can't handle? I think that's what we need.
Especially in lower income school districts. Yes. I feel like there's really
public schools.
Yeah, there's just not many resources.
If you're not sending your children to private school, it's the public schools that are struggling with, they can't even really handle the regular children. So how can they handle anything else above their pay grade? So
that's where I feel like when I started, it's a difficult journey, but there are a lot of resources, for example, Achieva. And there are other people, therapists, they work relentlessly. I call them unsung heroes because in my life, I've seen so many people coming home, voluntarily doing stuff and helping kids. So do you get any services at home?
Not now, I don't. Dash is 16, so he's a lot older now, but I went through Southwestern Human Services. They were great. I had them until they felt he no longer needed.
Is Southwestern still available for other people out there?
Yep. Though I went to the Bethel Park office.
So Achieva, Southwest. So there are resources out there that people can reach out to. So if you guys need that type of help, these are tools that can help you with your children if you have problems like with learning disabilities or anything like that. No one is calling anybody names here, but it's just that if you feel that you need help, these are resources that you can reach out to.
And as a parent, like, to get the correct diagnosis, you have to really pressure those doctors. I was told a 1.5 year wait list for my son just to get diagnosed. Sure.
Did they try to medicate your child first before they even tried to diagnose your child? Because that's a problem as well in the United States, period.
It definitely is.
People before they actually diagnose something.
I would not let them.
They want to treat symptoms before they do anything
else,
so.
I would not let them medicate my child at all. Zero. He's never been medicated.
They wanted to, though, right?
Later, after services, they did, but I said no. I said I just don't think, on a 10-year-old kid on an antidepressant is just, it makes them basically a zombie.
A zombie.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
I mean, we're zombies as adults when they try to give that to us. So I
don't like that.
How do you guys connect with the community, like for the kids, your kids or anybody? Like, do you see like places and areas you go or?
No, I'll be honest, not my area. I live in Carnegie, Scott. I mean, there's a Boys and Girls Club, but there's not really
the resources that we had as children.
Not that much
are
there.
Not there anymore. The Boys and Girls Club, the YMCA, the things like that. They're more so for adults now. So there's like really nothing for children to do other than you doing it yourself, other than taking them go-karting or to the playground or swimming or bowling. There's nothing like a club that you can join. Like there used to be a place that when we were children we can go and there were other children there. You just meet them. We played pool.
Go on field trips, all kinds
of
stuff.
Like things like that. Like it's just not there.
There's not that many that exist anymore. Without you, again, talking about like lower poverty, there's not a lot of options for that. Like everything is pretty pricey. I mean, even just for like daycares and things like that, price has definitely gone up. So
yes, even bowling. For one night of bowling, it's probably like $80. When you usually can go for like $25,
right?
Like about 5 years ago, So it's just everything has skyrocketed, and it's just very hard.
So you're saying like it's mostly on parents that like they have to do stuff and figure out things.
I feel like it's definitely on the parents. You have to just keep looking and looking and looking and not take no for an answer. Like I was saying, like when Dash got diagnosed, they told me Children's Hospital had a 1.5 year wait, and they tell you early intervention with autism is very, very key. So I'm like, no, he was already 3.5. I'm like, no, I'm not waiting a 1.5 years. He'll be 5, and then he's going to be starting kindergarten. So no, and I just kept calling. Every day I called. Is there a cancellation? Is there a cancellation? Finally, I think the secretary just got so annoyed with me. She said, hey, I have a lady's number here. She has her own private practice in Wexford. Her name was Ginger Martin. She was great. And she got me in immediately. And it was a 6-week, like he would go in by, I went in the first week. Then 2 weeks later, he went in by himself. And then we went in, 2 weeks later.
Well, I would like to say kudos to you.
Yeah, I don't take no for
kudos to you. As
Thanks.
well,
yeah, but it was definitely up to the parent for sure. Like,
do you go to any like a websites or anywhere? Like if you say if you need to find a doctor or for something, like how did you used to go?
So I went and got my degree in special education just because my son was diagnosed. I went back to school and did online.
Wow, that's
for all of this. Just so I could figure out, what to do. I didn't really know. And I was going through a divorce at that time. And I also had an older daughter. So it was just a lot at once. But I just was on the computer all the time, talking to every parent that I saw in the waiting room, while Dash was, with his BS,
and honestly,
doing everything.
It's not really, it's the parent. You love your child. You don't want to see your child suffering or going through any type of pain. Even when they're sick, they got a runny nose or anything. You don't want that to happen to your child. So you do everything. But it really takes a community to make sure that these things don't happen when they fall through the cracks,
Exactly.
everybody has a little special need. We're all individuals, like it's getting worse and we just need help from everyone. Like, so, I just feel like people just need to open their eyes and realize like that this is a very serious matter that, like, I hate to bring up music, but I'm a music person. But Whitney Houston said the children are our future. And I hate to think that we're the children that she was talking about.
Yeah.
Because this is crazy. We have to figure something out here and, work together as
communities
a team.
have to be closer together with that. And I feel...
And understand the problem. Don't just throw, like, the commercial. You can't just throw antibiotics at every problem.
No, it's not going to fix it, right?
Yes, you have to really get down and figure out what's going on so that we can fix this,
Yeah.
Yeah, often like even the resources like what available to get and to find out those is difficult for some parents. Like I've seen like where parents have like a lot of resources because some person they know told them, but like not every parent with kids need some assistance don't have all the resources. So it's like a big
and you have to
scenario, and a lot of the times I see them also stressful. Do you see that?
Yes.
And
it was very stressful for me. Too. It was driving me nuts.
There are children, there's babies having babies. So, you can be 18 years old and have a child and just don't know the direction that you need to go to. So that's another point that, these resources are out there for you. So you have to really search them and, because even though you might be 21 just having your first child, 18 having your first child, and you don't know what to do, but you're still a child yourself as well, so you don't know what to do.
And I miss
places that you can.
I miss that being in the schools too. Was teaching kids like simple life steps, like doing laundry. Like Dash literally just had me show him yesterday how to do laundry. He's like, "Can you show me how to do it?" I was like, "Yeah." But like classes like that, how to sign a check. There's no handwriting in schools today, so my kids definitely don't know cursive at all.
Right.
So, but just simple things like teaching life skills could make a difference with, like, with my son with the like simple little things like that could make a big difference. Right. Just doing something that small.
Yeah, even potty training and all those stuff
even trades.
Yes.
Because you don't know what it is that, when you're a child growing up, you don't know what you like.
No.
But you throw trades out there, sewing, cooking, mechanics, JROTC, whatever it is, you don't know what it is that you like. So you have all of these classes to try when you're in school. Yeah. It's like, I really like this. You know, you just don't, that's gone. It's not there.
Not there
the only
anymore.
thing that's left is gym.
My son's school that he just left, they don't even have a library. They took it out.
What?
There's no library.
Wow.
And I remember, and this is another, like, all the reading materials, like being in the doctor's office when I was young, there was pamphlets, on everything.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing like that in a doctor's office now for, like, parents to go and be like, you know what, hey, maybe, my son or daughter could be on the spectrum, or, maybe it could be this, or
I
maybe
believe a lot of that
just
came
nothing there.
from COVID as well, because they don't want to have material out where everyone is touching it. So, that changed a lot. Changed a lot of things. The world will forever be changed because of that.
Yes.
So you can't really touch things that other people touch and stuff like that. So they keep those things away from us, So now our children will never know what it was like when it's just changed.
It is. It's different, and it's for sure.
Definitely. Even for us as adults.
How you guys motivate yourself, like, with all these things, like the day to day?
My kids are my number one priority. They always have been. I really love being a mom. I was really, really excited when I had my daughter, which is why I ended up 2.5 years later having my son. I just really embraced being a parent. I was a nanny before that, and I worked in childcare before that.
Mm-hmm. So
I just generally love kids in general. I just think they're fun. I take my 4-year-old niece. I was just telling you, every Tuesday, and we do all kinds of fun stuff. Paint, Play-Doh, slime, whatever.
Wow.
Just to and I double on Mondays and Wednesdays. So I have a 15-hour day.
Well, my son is 29 now, so I don't have any...
Oh, you don't have any little ones?
No. I don't have any grandbabies or anything. I'm asking him, like, he's about to be 30, like, when I'm going to be a grandma, But I miss those things, Those are very significant things that you don't realize until it's over.
Especially like the holiday season. It just totally bums me out that my kids are older now. All that excitement is like gone.
Yes.
Now just like, oh, just give us some money. Like, that's boring.
And I know this is about, children, but I want to tell this one story about my son. He lost his tooth one day. He was about 5. And I told him, put the tooth under your pillow. The tooth fairy's going to come. He was just like so excited. Like, the tooth fairy? Like, yeah. He's like, you mean the tooth fairy that's going to come and fly around my room? I'm like, yeah. He was like, I don't want her in my room. Just those little things, though, like, he, like, tricked me. He psyched me out. Like, he was so excited, and then he just, like, changed, like, I don't want her in my room. Like, I just was like, okay. Like, he didn't believe in make-believe and, Santa Claus and all of those things like that. And I never told him not to. It was just his own brain. Yeah. He was his own person at 5 years old, 29 now, so it's just like those things about children you miss, you know?
You do. You don't realize
once it's over.
Yeah, as a dad, like, I'm just figuring out things. I've always been complained about, like, how I spend my time. Like, if I figure out one game, my daughter gets bored easily. And I don't know what to do. I'm, like, struggling. But recently, I'm trying to figure out. I spend, like, more than half time with her, and now I'm learning, but I'm not that great.
It's tough.
It's tough to
it's tough.
Engage them with different games or anything that excites them, because they get bored easily. This generation is like, I used to have one toy maybe when I was growing up.
Right. We never even.
We used to play outside.
Yeah, we were always outside. Like, we were never even allowed in the house. My mom was like, nope, go outside.
And I remember we had a light bright. And I took the whole thing off, like the front of it. You had to put the pegs in it. So I took the whole peg thing out and just showed it. Like, I had brothers and sisters, so we would do stand-up comedy. And I just would shine a light on us, and we would just stand up and just, like,
That's so funny.
in the house. Like, we had nothing else to do. You know?
So one more question, like, I have. Like, how, like, a transport, like, when you were sending school before, not now. Or, so, like, do you have, like, a special bus and... school arranged anything like to be like not bullied your kid or anything like that, or how?
No, like Dash is actually doing great now. He does online school, and this is the best year he's had. He's a sophomore, and he's all straight A's. And I think it's because it took all the pressure off him at school being different, because like I said, his school would just alienate him out. Because he had whatever the IEP and everything. I think it's a 504. But because he had those in place, they like separated him out away from everybody. So, when he was being bullied, it was just completely ridiculous. Like, the kids that were doing it had to take no accountability for their actions at all. 0. And so this year he's just really flourishing. Like, he doesn't even have to like go like face to face with a teacher. He just emails them or talks to them, and his grades, that's the stress plus his day. We don't really realize how many hours these kids really go to school, especially if you do have a child with a learning disability or whatnot. They're in school all day, then they come home, they got to do this 2 hours worth of homework. It's just a really long day. So his day now, he gets all of his schoolwork done in 3 hours. 3 hours of his day is spent on school, and that's it.
Nice.
And it just gives him a lot more free time, to do his homework. Or if he has a project due, he has time every day to do that, so it's not all at once. So he's not overwhelmed.
Do you worry about, like, him having a social life?
I did. So I did worry about that, especially because he's on the spectrum, so that was already a big thing. But with him, he was already... It was worse with him being in that social aspect. He came to me 2 weeks after school got out in the summer, this past summer. And he never, like, part of his thing, he doesn't really show emotion. He's pretty, like, monotone. So when he was crying to me outside 2 weeks after school about starting school in, like, 2 months, I knew something was wrong. And I wasn't really on board with online because of COVID. I don't think anybody's kids did well with that. I know my two definitely did not
Yes.
did not do well with the online schooling. So I was really worried about that. And we talked about, going to a private school. We talked about him.
So you talked to whom?
I talked to my son and his dad about these options.
So what are the pros and cons you guys?
Right. And I'll be honest, after everything that he went through, and we did change schools. When he got jumped, I did take him out of his school and put him in a private school. Jeez. And he went there, but then that school closed and they merged with somebody else. And it was a Catholic school, but Dash is not baptized, so.
And as parents, as all of us being parents and every parent out there, we worry about what's going to happen when we go.
Right.
Because no one really wants to bury their child. We all think that we should go before our children. So we worry about that all the time, and that's why I asked you about the social question, because when you're not able to be there, you just want to make sure that your child is going to be able to live through society and be okay without you.
Yeah.
That's every parent's nightmare.
Right.
Are you going to be able to live without me? So
Yeah,
And
I think,
that's-
that's
Go ahead, answer.
Yeah. So I think that's where I think the IEP, I know it's like it took a while to learn the IEP system, but I think you can nowadays create your own.
So IEPs are,
Yeah.
I get why they're there, but I don't know. It just really didn't work.
Sometimes
for
it doesn't
Dash.
work.
It was just you get some extra time on a test, or
right.
Again, his was if it was too much for him and he needed to take a time out, then he was again alienated.
Right.
It's
a crutch. Actually, I've had friends who have IEPs, or their children does those things, and it just. Even though I feel like their children don't even need it for real, there are children that really need these things. But you want to get your child on that because it's lenient. You're very lenient. That's not how the world really works. The world isn't lenient. So you want to always show. I'm not saying tough love or anything like that, but you don't want to really sugarcoat what's real. You know what I mean? So you want to always be real and upfront with your child. So.
And that's a very important way to look at that, because a lot of parents that I know don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so
when they get to the real world, it's going to be a rude awakening.
My niece is like that. She thought, everything was sugarcoated. And then now she's, 18 and out there. It's like a culture shock for her. Mm-hmm. She has no idea
what's going on.
She's lost.
Yes.
Yeah. I think, there are extremes, and but I think in the IEP, because I'm bringing this again, because luckily we had a speech therapist. She came from New York, and she has so much extensive knowledge, and that she actually fought with the school to modify IEP and bring awareness. She educated all of us.
Good.
So I think IEP, we can use it as a very good tool, and but a lot of us, parents or anybody, don't know what we can include. So it's we need some guidance and all.
So did you find that speech therapist on your own, or was that provided through the school?
Right. No, not through school. She was a independent speech therapist, and we started before.
So she's the one that had a fight at the school for the IEP.
No. She actually there are some things school has its limitation, and new people coming into the school, and sometimes they know about few conditions. Say for example, autism is more popular. The teachers might know few things, and a speech therapist in a school could do better if she already has the awareness about this thing, and she already doing this for other kids, and she might have goals and other things already available, and she will suggest few. But if not, then there is a place and a guidance we need to take from either from Achieva or a people who already been have a master degree, PhD. They know more about these things. If you go to uptown New York and go to other places and compare to Pennsylvania, there are some services good there, and they have more expertise what we can get from government and all that stuff. So it was she educated a lot. School once said hey, you guys actually taught us something, and but we also learned a lot. So I think it's two-way thing. I believe schools, like with the budgeting and all those stuff, like getting like a additional teaching resources or teaching aids for all these special extra education classes. It's also difficult, but like I understood, like, oh, we need some guidance going through. And I know, like your example, like with your son, like yeah, if the school like system is not ready to take your inputs and is suffering continuously, yeah.
Yeah, it was tough.
Yeah, so yeah, there are different approaches. I think, yeah.
Oh, there are some schools I know that are wonderful.
Yeah.
Montour is one of them. They're a great school
Yes.
for, kids that are
Need it.
struggling with, autism or Down syndrome. They have really good programs in place for that.
And like you said earlier, it's really all about, where the schools are placed. So the people that are in poverty level,
Yep.
those
It's not
are
going to be the best
it's
resources.
not going to be the best
Yeah,
resources.
I agree with
so
that.
you guys, actually show a lot of integrity and a lot of things that show people that there are resources out there. You don't have to do this alone. Just reach out.
Be
You never know.
persistent.
Yes,
Always be persistent. It's your
Yes.
kid.
it's your child. Yes, just so.
So this is the glimpse of what we are going to discuss in our future podcast. Like parents like us and the community we live in, and we have a lot of resources. Our podcast will come up with a lot of specific topics as well as bring new guests and also specialists and parents. Collaboration with the community and parents will be continuous. And this is our first small step, and we hope we get your support in the form of subscriptions and viewership. And since we are non-profit, our goal is to help community. In going to be challenging, but we are going to try it our best and with the bottom of our heart.
This is just the small tip of the iceberg of what we're going to be talking about. Let us know if you need any resources or if there's something that we can do to help you or help the community, because that's our goal, is to bring awareness to the parents out here that need help with children that don't really receive or very misunderstood or anything like that. So, pay attention and understand and know you're not alone. There are people out there for you.
I'm excited for our viewers to ask questions and for us to get into some topics that maybe we haven't heard or understood, and maybe different ways that we can reach out and help the community and help parents. Even if it's just, a parent just is frustrated and just wants to talk. It's little things like that that make a really big difference in somebody's life, because I used to have a timeout closet where I would go in with a pillow and either scream, cry, maybe have a glass of wine, maybe two, depends on how bad the day was, and just unwind. So I think this is a really good thing that
Yes.
we're touching on, and I'm really excited. I hope we get lots of subscribers, because I think a lot of parents should listen, because you never know.
Our purpose is clear, and we genuinely wanted to provide a content that useful for our community. This is our small team we are starting, and hopefully connect with you soon. And please watch us and stay tuned for our podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.